Good day, everyone. For Telesur, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. We start in Mexico today. That's where experts have identified DNA from a bone fragment found in a garbage dump as that of one of the 43 missing students from the Ayotzinapa Teachers Training College. Now, according to Mexico's Attorney General Jesus Murillo, the DNA matched that of Alexander Mora. The Attorney General also revealed that 80 people have been arrested so far in connection with the disappearance of the students. Activists and relatives have vowed to continue demonstrating, demanding that the remaining 42 missing students also be found.
Mr. President, this doesn't mean that the case is closed. We still don't know where the other 42 missing students are. This case must not be closed. The search must continue.
Alexander Mora was just 19 years old when he was forcibly disappeared on September 26th. He was from the town of El Pericón in Guerrero State. His family says it was his dream to be a teacher and that he was enjoying his studies at the teacher training school in Ayotzinapa. Mora's family members have described him as a very calm and intelligent student who denounced injustice. Moving on, we go to the Caribbean, where Cuba is hosting a summit with neighboring islands that make up the Caribbean Community, or CARICOM Alliance. It marks the 5th time the Caribbean Community and Cuba have met. Leaders will look to strengthen the organization's internal structures, as well as discuss education, health, poverty eradication, renewable energy, and social justice. Representatives from 14 countries are participating in the conference. CARICOM was founded in 1973 and holds a summit every 3 years. And we go now to Uruguay, where 6 former detainees have arrived in the country as refugees from Guantanamo Bay. The men, who will have the right to live and work in Uruguay, had been held for 12 years as suspected terrorists. They were never charged. The group consists of 4 Syrians, a Tunisian, and a Palestinian. It represents the largest single group to leave the camp since 2009. The former prisoners have expressed gratitude to President José Mujica for accepting them. They will also be able to see their families again while in Uruguay. Staying in the Southern Cone, Argentine authorities have accused the Argentine branch of the HSBC bank for keeping more than 4,000 undeclared bank accounts in Switzerland. A bicameral commission to investigate tax evasion allegedly perpetrated by HSBC has been approved in Congress. Leopoldo Caduti with the story from Buenos Aires.
The HSBC maneuver represents a tax evasion of at least $3 billion. Economist Fabian Amico sustains that these cases of capital flight affect countries experiencing growth.
No one developed country can have lower interest rates than those returns that can be obtained in developed countries. That causes capital flight, which in turn triggers a disaster for us.
A number of the accounts in question in Geneva are owned by HSBC Argentina's president and other bank executives.
In Argentina, there is no precedent for a case in which a government gains access to 4,000 hidden accounts in Switzerland at a global bank which has a subsidiary in Argentina and uses it to convince its account holders, a number of them wealthy and large corporations, to take their money out of the country and put it in the hands of those who then leave it to grow in the Swiss Confederation.
There is a staggering $400 billion belonging to Argentines in offshore accounts, a number equivalent to Argentina's GDP. The money offshored year after year is just as shocking.
What is offshored yearly, based on our estimates, in the case of 2012, for example, is the equivalent of the reserves in Argentina's central bank. That's $28 billion.
Argentina has denounced several foreign companies such as Procter & Gamble, who has recently been accused of capital flight maneuvers. From Buenos Aires, Leopoldo Caduti, Telesur.
Thanks to Leonel. We turn to world news now, and we turn to the United States. That's where people took to the streets for a second night protesting the country's legal system and systemic racism. Protests took place in New York and Philadelphia, as well as in Berkeley and Los Angeles. In LA, the march was titled Blackout Hollywood. Many demonstrators dressed in black clothing while others held their hands in the air. The demonstrations come as national outrage over race-related police brutality continues across the country. Civil rights leaders in the United States have planned a march on Washington, D.C. next Saturday. And we go to the Middle East, where reports indicate Israel has carried out 2 airstrikes on its neighbor Syria. Syria State News reports that 2 safe areas in the province of Damascus were targeted. No casualties were reported, but the attacks did result in serious material damage. Israeli newspaper Haaretz writes that while the government has not taken responsibility for the bombings, the strikes are in line with Israel's interventionist policies with respect to the Syrian civil war. And we turn now to Gaza, where Israeli violations of the established ceasefire are putting the fragile peace in the enclave at risk. Here's our correspondent, Noor Harazin.
What happened yesterday in the Gaza Strip when the Israeli naval boats arrested 12 Palestinian fishermen is threatening the ceasefire here in the Gaza Strip. The residents are fearing that the Palestinian resistance and the Palestinian militants will escalate in a way to answer the continuous Israeli attacks and violations of the truce in the Gaza Strip. However, what is bothering the people even more is the internal problems in the Gaza Strip between the 2 rival parties, Fatah and Hamas, and at the same time the situation, the humanitarian situation that is getting even worse day after day in the Gaza Strip.
We move now to Africa and Nigeria, where primary elections for the nation's presidency are scheduled for Wednesday. Incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan has already been confirmed as the candidate for the People's Democratic Party, while the opposition All Progressives Congress will decide between former military ruler Muhammadu Buhari and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. The opposition is attacking current President Goodluck Jonathan over security, corruption, and economic issues. Finally, on a cultural note, 2 Latin American cities, Havana, Cuba, and La Paz, Bolivia, have been named Wonders of the World. The new 7 Wonders contest saw 28 cities compete for the honor. People celebrated in La Paz, one of the highest cities in the world, at over 3,600 meters in the Andes. Residents called the results historic, hoping that the decision will boost and provide an additional source of income for Bolivia. As always, more on those stories and others at our website. Check it out, telesurtv.net/English. For Telesur English, I'm Cody Weddle.